So it is our pleasure on behalf of the Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or SINE, which is the technology business incubator associated with IIT Bombay, to welcome you to this session on, which is an awareness session on the Biotechnology Ignition Grant. And today we are partnering with the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore, and their Bioness supported Agri-Innovation Center. And we are lucky to have them with us today. So to begin with, I would invite Professor K.M. Harini Kumar, the professor and head coordinator of this incubation center, to please say a few words.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bharti. Today, the innovation is one of the important factors which really need to help us for the welfare of humankind, and also the sustainable global activities. The sustainability is very important nowadays. Agriculture playing an important role in innovation and entrepreneurship development, because 2050 the population in world it is reaching 9.6 billion. To feed that population, we need to increase the food production. Not only food, there are important components which need to fulfill for the welfare of human beings are food, fiber, fuel. The 3F is very important for the next generation to sustainability. So out of that, when you come to the agriculture, mainly we can group in as a conservation agriculture. You have to be sustainable forever. Otherwise, the fertility goes and production comes down. We cannot do anything. Towards the sustainability of the conservation agriculture, you have to think more, and that where the technology, not only agriculture means not only the science, biological science, all physical, biological, and social science interaction is very important. That's why we call agriculture is a complex business. It is not so easy as we can do any type of business, not agriculture, because of its complexity. It is influenced by the social factor, influenced by the environment, influenced by the market, influenced by the production. So many, that's the reason it is called as a complex business. So in that way, we can, for the sustainability, we need to go with a lot of work. You have to be a minimum mechanical disturbance, and there's a lot of soil coverage and also diversification of the crop species, and to be done in very importantly. So another is I told you already, it's a multiple dimension. Agriculture is not a single dimension. Any business you take, it is only single. You want to manufacture some scooter, car, is a single business, but not in agriculture. Is a multiple dimension, not a single dimension. The next one is secondary agriculture. So more than 80% of the biomass which are produced on the earth is just burning. We are not properly utilizing. And also the post-harvest loss is almost goes more than 30 to 30%. So because of the lack of the infrastructure, and lack of the processing unit or something, or cold day storage, whatever. So this is the things we can be look into that. We can also go for secondary agriculture. This is another area where we have a lot of scope to convert into value-added product, all from the waste, or the second, or maybe residue of agriculture can be recycled. That recently I was in one of the jury member in one of the evaluation of the startup. I came to know that a farmers actually in the help of the PhD scholar in chemistry, they develop a sponge like a structure, just like a thermocol, for packing purpose. It's a biodegradable and eco-friendly. So like that, there are a lot of product which are there which is actually harmful, not eco-friendly. So those product can be replaced by the agriculture. And I will just, it is a very big topic when you go agriculture startup. There's a lot of scope, but only thing we need interaction with the science, like physical science, social science, like IIT. So whatever, you should have go together, then only we can find out the solution. So from agriculture sector, I'm alone cannot do anything. So that was the scope for the new innovations or the entrepreneurship. The second one, there's a lot of huge demand for the agriculture produce is increasing every year. Because India is a diverse climatic condition, we can grow varieties of species. So the opportunity is there for exporting lot of produce which are produced, and how to export and how to maintain the quality. That is the one we need of the need in this way, you have to need required for the science or technology, whatever intervention to get and solve the problems. Then come to the list of area, I can take some important area like mechanization of agriculture. Nowadays, there is a lot of problems. Labor problems are prevailing in agriculture. That was the major problem. So for that, what to do? And also second one, we cannot go large scale mechanization act done in other developed countries like US or Australia and other things, because their holdings are very big. It is always in terms of thousands of acres. But whereas in India, particularly farmers, a small holding, the mechanization need with only small equipments, the small scale or crop wise agriculture improvement like sowing, seeding. So based on the crop, because we have only common equipment, we need crop wise. For example, sugarcane sowing is different from the other sowing that we needed. This next is the harvesting and post harvesting implements for the to utilize the crop residue for economical benefit. Like another also farming as a service. So we can have a provide or some equipment at a central point. So the small farmers can affordable to take those equipment and rent and do things. The second one, another area is called smart agriculture. So it is a catching area now, the monitoring the climate condition. So climate condition is very important. So because it influences on the growth of the thing and also a lot of onset of disease and pest can be predicted. Then precision farming, IoT for farmers and big data, and also futuristic solar farming and apiculture, aquacultures, aquaphonic, skycraper farming and aerophonic. So, and also there is a green, small greenhouse or maybe particularly to minimize the post-harvest loss, you have to be develop some compound materials which can be used as a keeping quality should be increased. So these are the area where actually need to develop, because we are losing around 20 to 30% of the crop residues you have grown, it is going waste. It's actually, it is losing more money towards that waste of the material during harvesting and other thing. If you take an example, in case of apple, so when transporting from the Simla to the southern part of India, I think more than 30% is the loss. This can be minimized by packing or maybe using some molecules, particularly the molecules which can also prevent the degradation of the or maybe damage the fruits. Next, smart greenhouse and aquaculture. This is another way in that. So these are some of the smart agriculture area in which there's a lot of scope to work on that line. The third one is crop improvement and crop management. So that is again, we need to enhance the productivity. When you see the productivity and the production gap is very wide. So for example, the soil has a capacity to produce 100 tons of sugarcane, but we are producing only 30 tons. So 70 tons can be produced if you go properly. That is what the production can be improved by that. So we can use the transgenic or non-transgenic or identify novel varieties, and also growth promoters can use, and irrigation management, weed management, and plant protection and disease prediction. So all these things help for the doubling the production actually. So that's how you can double the production. Then come to the seed technology, we need some good seeds, and also aero seeding or seed treatment requirement, nano treatment, or like that. The next one is a social science. It's also very important for us. The market management, marketing, training a self-help group, and the promoting youth and farmer produce organization. FAO was already developed. So those can be strengthened where farmers get more money and we can double the income of the farmers through this way. So the last one is a post-harvest technology. This is the where we have lacuna in that way. So I was seeing when during visit to my Thailand, I have seen the coconut, tender coconut. They made around 20 types of varieties of recipes out of only coconut. So in India, we will not have any such opportunities. We can have a lot of scope to work on that. There are areas where can go a lot of sugar coconuts. So you're not even able to transfer from South India to North India. So much of the scope available now. When you convert into value addition, we can store for a long time and also helping for that. So value addition is one of the main important one. And like in millets also, we can do healthy drinks or maybe healthy breakfast we can get out of that. And crop residues and waste management. I told you 80% of biomass being burned without properly utilized. We can convert the biomass into various, the packing material, or we can make as a paper. We can use for the fuels, biofuels. We can add a lot of things. The value added menus, the composting technology need to be developed, because the waste management is a major problem in urban area. So how we can develop a composting technology indigenously, so to generate some farm menus, so that can be recycled back to the village for growing crops. So like that. So another new area is called phytochemicals. So the phytochemicals are nowadays important for us. When they come to the phytochemicals, there's a lot of pesticides or herbicides are using. Now there is a phytochemical or phyto-based molecules used for control of the weeds. Like that, we can also use these phytochemicals to control the pests and diseases. So it's a new area where actually we can minimize the pollution, particularly those synthetic chemicals have a long persistence and effect on the environment. And also another very important nowadays after COVID, everyone knows that nutraceuticals. We need a balanced diet of the food for all of us, for increasing immunity or other thing. So that is another way we can have an area to work on that. Then also the bioenergy. Probably all of you know that 2040 or 45 is the date for us, where actually we lose almost all the 90% of energy, particularly petroleum product. So in 2040 onwards, we have to depend on only the renewable energies, either solar or electrical or biofuels. The biofuels is the one, it can also contribute for a lot of things like biomass for electricity generation, and also methane gas production from the waste, and hydrogen production from the microorganisms, and bioethanol from sugarcane, sweet potato, and other crops, and biodiesel from the edible and non-edible oils. So these are the area where I have a lot of scope to work, because this energy is the one of the important source. Without energy, probably we cannot move. And also second one, the fossil fuel will be exhausted, maybe even including coal. Everything you will not get, so already it is declining. So you can see the declining also. So then the next alternative will be biofuel or bioenergies. And we can also have a evolutionary technology intervention in agriculture, like a chatbot technology for agriculture. And also there are people who already have started in that line to make more of that. And so another area called data analysis for agriculture, and IoT, data science technology, and crop forecasting is the online market platform is another area where we are required for the Indians and also Indian farmers, the blockchain technology of agriculture, and this can be used for that. So these are the things based on this. We have started Agri Innovation. I hope Dr. Lekashi will give a brief idea about Innovation, Agri Innovation Center of US Bangalore. And we got a funding from Biotechnology also. And this is about just my brief introductions. And I'm very happy to inaugurate, and also very happy to collaborate with IIT Mumbai, Bombay. The sign is doing very well. I know that it's one of the top incubation center now. I think they started very long back. So thank you so much, Bharati, for inviting me for this workshop. Thank you so much.
Professor Harini Kumar, thank you so much for giving us such a wonderful summary of the entire field and the scope that there is for innovators in the field. Now I invite Ms. Lekashri, who's the CEO of this Innovation Center, to please give us a brief about their Biotechnology Agri Innovation Center.
Thank you, Bharti, for the brief introduction. I'll be briefing about our USB Agri Innovation Center, which is located at University of Agriculture Sciences, Bangalore. And it is coordinated by Dr. K.M. Harini Kumar, who is a professor and head of Department of Plant Biotechnology, and Dr. Veena Anil, professor and co-coordinator for Agri Innovation Center, and also professor of Department of Plant Biotechnology. Next slide. We have started formally from the year 2017 with the motto of nurturing entrepreneurship and provide opportunities to change traditional agriculture into agribusiness. And our committee is headed by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Rajendra Prasad. And UAS Agri Innovation Center, we have recently registered it as a Section 8 company. And we have 3 initiatives as of now. One is Biotechnology Agri Innovation Center, which is supported by BIRAC. I'll be briefing about it in detail in the next slides. And we also have a rural agripreneurship, which is supported by Ministry of Food Processing and Industries. And in this project, we have set up a processing lines in different products based on ODOP basis, one district, one product. For example, in Mandya, we have a jaggery processing units in Hassan for coconut and ginger, and Chamarajanagar turmeric, Ramnagar for coconut, and Chitamani for vegetable crops and tomato. And under the support of NABARD, we are also establishing rural incubation centers, for which Bangalore, our incubation center will be a nodal incubation center, and rural incubation centers will be established at Chintamani, Ramnagar, Chamarajanagar, and Mandya. And we also have a collaboration with CCAMP. We are running a collaborative project with them, which is supported by Government of Karnataka. And we have collaboration with BBC and Society for Innovation and Development, IIC. Next slide. These are the services that are offered by our incubation service. Infrastructure. In terms of infrastructure, we are providing our incubators with laboratory facilities, office space, conference room, and other infrastructural facilities. And with respect to technical mentoring, as being a university, we have a large pool of technical mentors. Our incubators will be closely associated with those mentors, and they will be trained time to time. And we do organize the training programs and workshops for our incubators and also for the students of university for the capacity building. And we also do the business mentoring with senior corporates and established entrepreneurs, and through outreach activities like Krishi Mela. And we do facilitate them with the IPR facilitation through NRDC. And funding, as of now, we are not providing any kind of seed fund or grants, but we are connecting our incubators with a incubation center, which are providing them like SIGN, NARM, CCAMP, and BBC and other institutions. And but we are conducting activities to raise the funds for our incubators. For example, in the next month we have Tech Bharat that will be organized with in association with Lagu Udyog Bharati. In this event, we focus on bringing stakeholders of all the startup ecosystem on one platform, and there will be many angel investors and venture capitals, and there will be a pitching event in that. Registered interested agri and food tech startups can register themselves for this event and pitch their ideas to raise the investments. And we do commercialize technologies. As I said, being a university, we have so many technologies developed by our university, and we do commercialize for them, for the startups, and any interested startups or the companies, they can get license of a product and they can commercialize the products that are purchased from us. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. With respect to Bionest Agri Innovation Center, we are focusing on following thematic areas. One is agriculture, agri-tech and allied sector, crop improvement, technologies in agriculture, urban farming, food processing and formalization of micro enterprises, nanotechnology, secondary metabolites and applications, marketing and supply chain. And next slide. Here we are incubating innovative farmers, agri and agri-tech and plant biotechnology startups. Aspiring entrepreneurs in the allied sector, ideation stage startups can be incubated here, and agri and allied sector startup who are looking for scaling up their business can be incubated here. And if you need any kind of support in terms of as far as I have explained earlier, we have the infrastructural facility, we have mentoring, and also we have a laboratory, well-equipped laboratory facilities with us. It will be shown in the future slides. Next slide. These are the glimpses of the facilities that we have. We have bioinoculant production unit, tissue culture facility we have, and phenomic facility, molecular biolab facility, central instrumentation facility, and we do provide the field space to the startups to conduct their experiments on square feet basis. And we also have IND equipments like LCMS and GCMS, scanning electron microscope, 3D printers, RT-PCR, stereo microscope. This will be made available to our incubators for conducting their research and development. Next slide. Okay. Our unique feature, one of the unique features of our incubation is a knowledge center. And next slide. In this knowledge center, we do focus on the following areas that are displayed here. One is agri input, horticulture, animal husbandry, nutrition and health, farm service, ICT in agriculture, information and communication technology, post-harvest technologies, then farm mechanization, supply chain management, marketing and export, government policies and regulation. Actually our focus, we have collected and we are collecting the information in these focus areas mentioned here, and through different sources, and this information will be screened by our committee of experts, which includes different scientists and resource persons and also mentors. And the authenticated information will be posted on our website, and it will be made available for the incubators and also for the startups as a whole. And we would focus to make it a one-stop solution for our agri startups. That is a unique feature of our incubation center as of now. And another unique feature is a biological material repository. Next slide. In biological material repository, we do collect, conserve, characterize, and distribute biospecimen for the further research and development. And will have a collection of different cultures like mushroom cultures, seed and plant varieties that are developed, horticulture plant materials, endophytes, plasmids, bacterial strains, etc. And the materials that are developed here in our university will be made available physically, and other materials like materials that are developed by other university or something, that will be made available that will be made available in our catalogs. On the request basis, we will approach that particular repositories, and we will make it available for the startups based on the requirement. And that will be there will be guidelines from our university also, and from the other repositories. Based on those guidelines, the material will be given to the startups, and also for further research and development to the students and startups for commercialization and development. Next slide. And yes, as I have said earlier, this will be made, the repository material will be made available for our students and our incubators, then National Wide Research Institute for Research and Development, and also for commercialization based on the request basis, and also the further commercialization as per our university guidelines. Next slide. This is our team. Dr. K. M. Harini Kumar, professor and head of the Department of Plant Biotechnology, is a coordinator for us, and Dr. Veena S. Anil is a professor and co-coordinator for our Green Innovation Center. I'm Lekashri, serving as a Chief Executive Officer for the center, and Dr. Brijesh is he's working as an operational manager who is looking after our laboratory facilities and also instrumentation. Then Priyanka is she is acting as a technical officer for biological material repository, and Dr. Bharat Prasad, technical officer for Knowledge Center. If you have any doubts,
sorry, Lekashri, I'll just interrupt you for 1 second. I'll just give me a second, okay? Because we're in the last slide. I'll just bring it back. It's not available, right?
Right, that is okay. That was the last slide actually.
It's okay, the last slide.
Yeah, that is okay. Pratati.
Lekhashri, you can go on and finish, then
Right.
Pratati can start.
Yeah, that was our team which was shown earlier. And if you want to incubate, if you are agri startup, if you if you are even at ideation stage, you can contact us and you can get in touch with us. Also, I have explained about an event that we are organizing next month. If anybody is interested, you can contact us. We will post the contact details in the chat box. And for any other information, you can write to us on agriinnovationgkvk@gmail.com. Thank you for giving this opportunity for briefing about our innovation center. Thank you.
Hello.
Dashrath, it's visible, but I think Lekashri is done with the from her side.
Yeah, it is done.
So Pratati is around, Dashrath. I think we can just flash our presentation now so that Pratati can go ahead with the PIG and BIRAC funding opportunities.
My sincerest apologies. My system just shut down. I'm really sorry, Lekashri. Can you take this last slide again?
No, Pratati,
That is okay.
she's
That's
done
it
from-
is done.
yeah.
Then I'll just share screen from my end.
Yeah.
Yes, it's visible.
Thank you, Rashid. We thank the team from the Agricultural University and the Agri Innovation Center for joining us today. I apologize for the brief technical glitch. I will now take advantage of the context that's already been set by Professor Harini Kumar and Lekashri here, where they've highlighted all the open areas that innovators who are applying for this grant can apply to, and there is a major scope. Now, for early innovators, and especially from academia as the audience here today, you need an initial, once you have established a small idea in the lab scale, or you know that a certain idea that you've come up or a technology that you've come up with has a great commercial potential, you need some quantum of cash for you to develop your prototype further and take it closer to the market. And this is the Biotechnology Ignition Grant has been designed specifically for that. So the reason we're having this joint session today is to bring more awareness regarding the Biotechnology Ignition Grant. This is the 20th cycle of the scheme. The call is currently open and it will close on 15th Feb. Through this session, we will give you a very brief overview of this grant. Many of you might be familiar. For those who are not, just to give you the scope and reach of this grant, and then we will take any questions from the audience that might be interested in applying for this grant. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a flagship program of BIRAC. It is one of the largest granting schemes for early stage innovators. And it is basically to encourage researchers, especially in academia and also young startups, to basically take their biotech ideas and within 18 months, with the help of 50 lakhs of grant money, to establish their proof of concept. Now, the entrepreneurs and the startups can be from any domain of academia. However, the basic academic criteria is that the applicant should have completed an undergraduate degree. As I mentioned, and as Lekashri has also mentioned earlier, that 19 calls of this scheme has already been announced. The 19th one is under evaluation right now, and the 20th one will close, as I mentioned, on February the 15th. By any metric of evaluation, this has been a very successful granting scheme provided by BIRAC. More than 200 IPs have been generated, more than 50 products launched into the market, and of course, a generation of an immense amount of capital and employment. Now, you don't have to have a company, or you don't have to be part of a startup for you to apply. You can apply in the individual category as well. And if you're applying in the company category, the age of your company, calculated from the date of incorporation to the call, to the open of the call in which you're planning to apply, matters. Now, whether you're an applicant who's applying in the individual category or on behalf of a company, you will have to provide your passport as a proof of nationality. And like I already mentioned, you will also have to have completed your undergraduate degree. Now, for individuals, I'll just briefly go over some of the criteria that is essential for you to qualify for this grant. I've already mentioned the educational qualification. You should not be holding shares in other companies. If you hold a certain amount of shares in other companies, you will then have to apply on behalf of that company, provided it is a biotech company. Now, ideally, single member teams are not looked favorably upon. So try to, if you are a single innovator, try to get some more team members who complement your skill sets and strengthen your team that way. If you are an individual, you will require a space and not only infrastructural support, but other kinds of support that an incubator provides. And so this is a BIRAC big mandate that you be associated with an incubator during the tenure of this grant, where you will actually execute the project for which you receive the grant. Now, for this, you have to get and upload a letter of intent from the incubator. What this letter will state will that if you are a successful grantee, that particular incubator will allow you to work within its premises. Here, as Lekha Shri is correctly pointed out, you have access to an excellent incubator in which to execute your big project. Now, if you are associated with academia, either as a student, you're a PhD student or a postdoc, or you are a faculty member, you will have to furnish a no objection certificate issued to you by the host institute. Now, this will cover several clauses. First of all, they should allow you to accept the grant money into your no-lien account or into your personal no-lien account. And also that 18 months, you will need to be associated with the project. And but if you are unable to give full time to this project, if you're a successful grantee, please remember that this is one of those unique grants that allows you to hire manpower. So you can always hire experienced team members who can execute the project under your supervision. Now, there will be, if you're associated with an academia, certain clauses, IP clauses that your host institute will have that might cause some of the IP that you develop through your big project to lay with the host institute. However, the IP policy should be clear and should be encouraging of you to license it back onto to your startup for your commercialization purpose. Now, this NOC is essential if you're, as I already mentioned, if you're part of academia. Now, please remember that the BIRAC big mandate is that any IP that is generated during the grant should lie with the innovator. So if it is not possible because of your institute's IP policy, like I mentioned, the licensing or the tech transfer policy should be clear so that you can, in the future, your startup can license out that technology that you've developed. Now, if you're privately employed, you will have to provide a declaration that if you are a successful grantee, you will quit your current employment and devote your time, full time, for the 18 months of the project. Now, coming to some of the key criteria of if you're applying on behalf of a company, like I said, the age of the company is very important. It should be less than 5 years. Your company should be less than 5 years old. If from the date of incorporation to the call in which you're applying. Again, the PI who's applying on behalf of the company should hold some shares in the company. The minimal amount is not specified by BIRAC. Now, this clause has been put in place so that if you're an employee and you're applying on behalf of the company, you might quit your employment within the 18 months and they do not want you to disrupt the success of the project if such a thing happens. And so this clause has been put in. Also, even if your company is less than 5 years old, but you hold shares in companies that aren't, that might disqualify you. However, if that company is in a non-biotech domain, the same clause does not apply. You will also have to submit several company financials and documents, memorandums of association, articles of association. If you are a revenue generating company, then your revenue CSA certified revenue statement, shareholding patterns, and so on. Now, here for the audience today, the theme that is most important in the biotech domain is the agri-tech part of it. So it's agriculture and allied areas. And Dr. Harini Kumar has nicely laid the groundwork for what all is covered under secondary agriculture, under agri-tech, and of course, veterinary science is also supported. So we normally see proposals covering almost all of the areas that Professor Harini Kumar laid out for us. So from mechanization of farming, from developing agricultural robots and such, or to the use of agricultural waste into value-added products, platforms that unite stakeholders in the farming domain, as well as things that help with sensing of soil or prediction of weather patterns. Such things are also, such software solutions or AI/ML based solutions are also supported under this grant, as is apiculture, aquaculture, dairy farming, and so on, as well as cold storage solutions that can protect you from post-harvest losses, as you pointed out. Now, besides that, there is, of course, medtech, industrial biotech, that covers areas such as clean energy, sanitation, waste management, and so on. Again, if you have a software solution, for instance, you have a way to use satellite data to predict where on a farm there is available groundwater, or what the health of the crop, in case of large scale cropping, what the health of the crop looks like. If you have solutions, or you have agricultural drones or robots that are IoT enabled, then you can apply through this grant as well. This is a very competitive grant with several layers of evaluation. After some initial screening, based on that checks for your eligibility, whether you've uploaded all the supporting documents, you're the correct scheme fit, and you have sufficient content to be evaluated downstream. That's the first preliminary screening step, after which all of the online received proposals are categorized into 5 broad themes. These are diagnostics, drugs, medical devices, and agriculture and allied areas, and industrial biotech. Now, once they are categorized into these domains, domain experts and other experts in the pertinent field are then sent these proposals for an online review process. 5 or more reviewers look at a written proposal and they score it based on criteria set by BIRAC. Now the final score is the geometric mean of all of these scores. And depending upon the cutoff set for that particular theme, a candidate is then selected to move on to the next round. This is the round where, the only round where the candidate gets to present their idea in front of a technical expert panel, hence it is called the TEP round. And again, this is thematic. And nowadays, because everything is in virtual mode, there is first an 8-minute presentation followed by 12 minutes of Q&A with the panel. And again, you are scored based on your performance during this presentation. Again, thematic cutoffs are set, and if you meet those cutoffs, you move on to the final round, which is deliberations by the expert selection committee. Now, this committee is made up of the chairs and co-chairs of the thematic expert panels from the previous round. And so they're familiar with the proposals that are being discussed. And depending upon the funds that are available with BIRAC, their focus areas, the quality of proposals received, certain thematic cutoffs are set. And again, if you meet those cutoffs, you are a final grantee. And the list of the final grantees are then posted on the BIRAC big website. Now, whether you make it through any of these rounds, or you cannot qualify for some reason because you've not made the cutoff to the next round, at every stage you're going to receive feedback that was provided by the reviewers, and this will be provided to you in a compiled form for you to then take note and improve your proposal so that you can apply a second time. Please remember that if you don't make it the second time, there are applicants who continue applying, they strengthen their proposal and they continue applying, and many have had success even on the 3rd and 4th round. So please do not be discouraged if you do not make it on the first round. Now, once you're a successful grantee, the big partner starts due diligence and then is in charge of monitoring your progress through the 18 months and releasing milestone-based funds to you in 3 tranches. The evaluators are a pool of BIRAC approved domain experts, investors, business leaders, IP experts, and so on. Once your written proposal is received, it is sent to a diverse pool of 5 reviewers so that your proposal is looked at from every angle and its commercialization potential is clear. And as I mentioned earlier, and then the geometric mean of those reviewers' scores given is taken, and feedback, of course, is communicated back to you. Now, there are several evaluation parameters that at every stage you are evaluated by. Of course, the technical strength of your proposal is the most important. So please provide sufficient technical details. If you are IP protecting your solution, provide as much as you're comfortable revealing, but make sure that it is enough for the reviewer to understand the importance of the solution that you're bringing to the table, and so that they can evaluate it on the technical aspects of it, the scientific soundness of it. Again, equal weightage and quite importance is placed on the unmet need. In your case, if you have an agricultural solution, as Professor Harini Kumar correctly pointed out, the farmer is your primary customer. So anything that benefits the farmer and the Indian agricultural sector, a key critical need in that sector will be viewed upon favorably. So please highlight this strongly in your proposal. Again, if there is a problem, many people are thinking of the solution as well. And so you might have either new startups or established players in the market with existing solutions. So you have to see what gaps are being left by these solutions and how you're going to fill those gaps and come up with an even better solution to service that unmet need. The team strength and passion are very strong when you consider this grant. And so please highlight your expertise, your strength well as PI, as well as the complementary skill sets of your team. Together onboard as early as you can some domain experts, some business and other mentors that are critical for the success of your product. And this can further strengthen your team and provide confidence that you'll be able to execute the project successfully in the 18 months. For those of us who come from an academic background, understanding the business side of things is often difficult, and we find many academic innovators who are struggling with this. However, for this particular grant, since commercialization is the key point that is being looked at, you have to provide some clarity on the business aspect of things. For instance, the market potential, your target customer segment, your go-to-market strategy. So you should have some clarity on these. And if you cannot do it on your own, please reach out to the incubator from whom you requested an LOI. Reach out to your big partner through whom you will be applying for this grant, and they will be happy to take you through the paces and find the best business perspective for you. Now, for those of you who are writing this proposal on an agri-based theme, as I mentioned earlier, please make sure that the problem statement is coming out very clearly. Your end user, which in your case will be the farmer or somebody in the supply chain, that you should have already spoken to farmers and these stakeholders in the farming community, so that you actually know what the pain points are and your solution is being carefully designed to address those pain points. Again, I've already mentioned the technical detail part of it. Please remember that every review panel that looks at your online submitted proposal is going to understand the technology and going to be evaluating you on that technology. And so please use the correct terms, the correct units, set the correct context for this. Again, as I mentioned, if you successfully land the grant and in 18 months you've developed your first prototype, or you have taken your technology closer to market, you have to then think of who your immediate competitors are, what competitive edge you have over them the moment you launch this product into the market. Because remember, 18 months is not a long time. And so you should beforehand know exactly who your direct and indirect competitors in the market are and what parameters you have an edge over them and you can beat them when you launch your product. Again, please remember this is a very involved grant with several sections and several documents that need to be uploaded. So please go through the pro forma of the grant. It's available on the BIRAC Big website, and prepare these documents beforehand. Things like the concept note that is like a brief overview of your solution. This should definitely be uploaded because often reviewers are pressed for time. They have 20 to 25 proposals that they're looking at each cycle. And so anything that quickly gives them an idea about the novelty of your solution, about your market competitors, which will come in the novelty note, and about the technical details, like, in the form of some sort of visual representation, either a small demo video, flow charts, pictures, anything that basically gives them an idea of what you're proposing and why it is unique. Again, the roadmap, not only for the 18 months of the grant, but beyond that, try to come up with a roadmap of the launch of your product or any future products, the bouquet of offerings that your startup will be involved in. Have some idea about that roadmap. Again, your big partner, with the help of their business mentors and their years of experience, can help you map this out as well. Again, although this is an ideation and to proof of concept grant, data is required sometimes to support your claims and sometimes to support the unmet need. So you will need some general data where you'll provide some statistics that supports your unmet need. And there, please draw them from reliable sources. For the technical aspects of your project, any claim that you're making about your solution should be backed up with some data. Now, if you have not generated that data, if you have not managed to do a small scale proof of principle, or you have not managed to do even a lab scale, a small study from which you've collected data, you've not been able to test out your idea, then support the feasibility of your project through already published papers, published reports, and so on. Again, the team and the mentors, this combination is extremely important. So early on, please find out suitable mentors and onboard them and take their advice in preparing this grant. Again, just a few brief points on how to write the grant successfully. Have an effective title. It should be precise without using too much technical jargon. It should communicate very quickly what it is, what the problem is, and what the solution you're providing is. Again, source your statistics from reliable publications. If you have the ability to do a small scale market research or prior art search, please use that to your benefit to bring out basically the novelty aspects of your solution. Again, within the body of your proposal, make sure you're addressing all the key matrices of evaluation that I just pointed out adequately, that you have all your documents prepared and uploaded properly, and please seek feedback on your drafts from your big partner, from your incubator, from your mentors. So get as many eyes as you can to look at your draft proposal so that the feedback you can be incorporated and you have a very well-written proposal, because that's the first step that you make a good impression. And if you write a clear and technically sound and well-written proposal, you're closer to basically getting to the next rounds of evaluation. Again, as I mentioned, if you have any preliminary data, please provide that. If you have any patents, papers, anything that shows the feasibility and your technical expertise in that particular field, please provide that data. Again, try not to make unsupported claims. You should also have a realistic work plan, because 50 lakhs is not a lot. Sounds like a lot of money, but for certain projects, it is not sufficient money. And so don't have ambitious work plans, have a realistic work plan with well-defined objectives, because you will have 18 months to carry out your project. If you're over-ambitious, the reviewers will see through that, and that may not go in your favor. This proposal, like I said, has several sections. Please, one of the things that I want to mention is in the feasibility and challenges for every particular project, there will be some anticipated challenges, and you should have mitigation strategies ready for those. And the form itself will also ask you to put that on. Now, for gauging the technology readiness level, again, sometimes you might not be able to understand what level your technology is. And so because this is an early stage grant, you should be at TRL levels between 1 to 3. And please reach out to your big partner again to help you establish your correct TRL level, and your incubator should be able to help you with that as well. Now, this is, as I already mentioned, the equipment, like any research budget, although this is not a research project because it does not support exploratory research, but instead solutions with commercial potential. However, there are similar heads of expenditure. Equipment, please make sure that you are only budgeting those that are not available with your incubator. Most BINS supported incubators are extremely well equipped. And so you will not be allowed any equipment that is already available with your incubator. This is one of the grants that allows you to hire manpower, and I've mentioned this already. However, mentors, advisors, and salaried individuals cannot draw a salary through this grant. You can use this to support team members who are not otherwise supported, and you can pay them up to 50K per month. But of course, commensurate with their educational qualification. As you will be associated with an incubation center, you should have budgeted the incubation charges as well. And depending upon your particular project, you will have some amount of outsourcing. Say you have to get something tested in a lab, or you need something fabricated. There also you can have some portion of your budget, a portion to the outsourcing funds. Again, there are two entities that, for those of you who are familiar with the grant, you know that when applying, you have to identify a big partner. There are 8 big partners across the country. Today, Sign is here with you as one of the big partners. We can help you throughout the process of application, and of course, through the process of evaluation. We can communicate and effectively prepare you for the next stages of evaluation. Once you're a successful big grantee, we will carry out the due diligence, the required due diligence, and we will monitor your progress. Even though if say you're unable to incubate with us because you have selected an incubator closer home and better equipped for your particular project, you can always also access our network even as a big partner. As an incubator, of course, the incubator will provide you infrastructure and support, access to their network. They will help you, they will handhold you not only through big, but eventually help you also with raising follow-on funds. Now, Assign is also an incubator. We are under the umbrella of IIT Bombay, and we are focused on deep tech solutions that have the potential to generate IP and that also have the potential to create economic, social, and strategic value in the ecosystem. Now, as your big partner, as I mentioned, we offer support through every stage. If you select us as a big partner, you can contact us early on and we will help you write the best possible grant. That'll help, we will look over your drafts, we will provide constructive criticism. We'll also provide mentoring at later stages of evaluation. And through us, you can access other past grantees, share their stories and their experiences, as well as get access, as I said, to our network as an incubator. Just to highlight some of our successful grantees in agri-tech, very recently we've had some agri-tech big grantees, and I would just highlight 4 of them here. For instance, we've had a company from Andhra Pradesh who have created a platform that is uniting all stakeholders in the agricultural supply chain specific to the chili crop in Andhra Pradesh. And they have been a successful grantee in the 18th cycle. Similarly, we've had in the dairy sciences, we've had an innovator who's come up with a milking cum cooling pail to help marginalized dairy farmers to reduce their losses of milk due to spoilage. We've also had, again, in the dairy sector, we've had an early pregnancy detection kit for cattle. Professor Harini Kumar rightly stressed the need for preservation and reduction in the wastage of agricultural produce. And we've also had an IITM alumnus who's currently incubated with us, who is providing a cold storage solution for the preservation of different kinds of agricultural produce. Again, I've already mentioned the technology readiness level. Please remember that this is an early stage grant. And so at the end of the grant, you will take your product closer to the market. However, there is not enough time and enough money for you to do large scale field trials if you're an agricultural innovator. And similarly, if you're in health tech, you can only go up to preclinical and not beyond that. BIG is just the first step through the door for you for BIRAC funding. If you land this grant successfully, or if you don't, as your innovation progresses, as your product development progresses, BIRAC has a series of other grants available that are suitable for every stage of your product development. After BIG, the two most important funding schemes for you to consider is SIBRI and BIPP. And even beyond that, as you're scaling up, there are other funds as well. And at every stage, BIRAC is providing you with funds that are commensurate with the needs of the product development at that stage. There is very recently a royalty clause that's been attached to this grant. Once you start making revenue or you are ready to transfer your technology, you will have to pay 5% royalty to BIRAC until you've met the total funding amount, the grant amount that was given to you. Of course, if your company falls within 7 years, this does not apply. Just a few take-home messages. Please start, if you're thinking of applying in the current cycle, the end date, the call will close at 5:30 p.m. on February 15th. So please, I hope you've started your application process already. Get the necessary letters, get the supporting documents uploaded. Try to submit at least a week in advance. As many of you are familiar, if you're trying at the last minute, there might be technical glitches and you may not be able to submit. Please remember the deadline is 5:30 and not midnight on the last day. Now, for any further questions, and if you're interested in using us as your BIG partner, please write to us at sign_big@signiitb.org. Visit our YouTube channel and our website. As your BIG partner, we will discuss your solution with you, help you structure it the best that improves your chances in landing the grant. And please remember that we will have more Q&A sessions. So as you're writing the grant, if you have further questions, you can always reach out to us as well. With that, I'm ending my presentation and we'll open the session up for questions. If you have a question, you can raise your hand and ask it live.
I think, Bradati, there is one question. I think there was one question in the chat box earlier. I think Vikash has answered that. But what are the procedure for incubation and applying for grants? So I think I'll just highlight a few points for this question is that as Bradati already mentioned in the presentation, we are the BIG partner. So if you would like to apply for BIRAC BIG grant, you can choose us as your BIG partner, but you can incubate with your incubation center, Bionest Incubation Center at your university, and they can help you with all the incubation facilities in terms of infra or lab facilities. However, for grants, if you need any help in applying for the fine-tuning your application, if you would like to know anything about the guidelines more, you can get in touch with us. Along with the BIRAC BIG grant, there are other grants as well from the BIRAC, which are for students. For example, Bradati here mentioned that for BIG, there is one grantee which is associated with SIGN, who is working on the milk pail, working on milk pail for the marginal farmers to reduce the losses because of the milk spoilage and all that. So now this particular grantee was a student from NDRI Karnal. And he was working on this during his PhD while he was opted for his PhD and all, and he applied for BIRAC Sitare grant. This grant is for student when they are doing the PhD or even the master's degree. They can apply for this grant, and this grant is for the students, which is up to 15 lakh. And with this, they can work on their PhD project as well, and they get some funds to work on their project if they have any prototype to be made, initial level prototype to be made or something. Now, this is a kind of a grants which you can avail while you are still a student, master's or postgraduate, and then you can also apply for BIG, because now you have something, work which you can show in BIG, where you can get selected because you already have done some work, you have done that this is a feasible work or something. So this is one of the example how students can opt for entrepreneurship and take help of such grants. So you can also contact us, we can connect you with the right centers for applying for such grants. As well as there are other grants like Nidhi Prayas grant or METI grants or seed funds available. So these are some grants which you can also opt for while you are working on your projects, theses, master's thesis or PhD or postdoc work. So that is about this question.
I just thanks a lot, Pranita. And I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce Dr. Pranita, who's part of our big SIGN big team here. And she's quite experienced with this grant and will share her insights as we go along. For the question here about how to apply, I've posted 2 links. The first link just gives you the general BIRAC big webpage, where you'll get all the information such as the pro forma of the grant, the guidelines, who's eligible, the eligibility criteria, the big partners, the incubators. You'll get all that information. The second link that I've provided, that is where when you click on it, you have to first register. So if you're in an individual, you will register as an individual. If you're applying on the behalf of a company, you will register as a company. And then step by step, you will be guided through the application process, which is completely online. Now, on the first BIRAC big web page, also there is an entire how to go about filling the form and what to expect as you're going through the pages. That is also there, so you can familiarize yourself with the grant that way as well. I hope that answers. Let me just see who asked this question. It was Dr. Rashmi. I hope that answers your question. If anybody wants to ask a question live, please raise your hand.
So there is one more question. Just check look the chat box. Deepak C has some question.
Okay, any chance that the idea is not stolen at the application stage? I am little worried on this. What is the safeguard followed? Okay, so Deepak, just be assured that all the reviewers or even the incubator people, they are under oath and they have signed NDA and no conflict of interest. So anybody who is in working in close contact with you or something, they may not review your application, and anyone who is reviewing your application at various stages, they have already signed a NDA, non-disclosure agreement with BIRAC as well as with incubators. So they cannot violate this particular thing, and your idea or your work is safe. So that has been taken care by incubators as well as by the BIRAC as well.
And if you are really that concerned about your idea, you can always protect it if you have the time with a provisional patent and then apply. So that's, it's at least in the domain, and you're trying in the process of IP protecting it.
Okay, there is one more question. Can a team apply for this scheme who has already been sanctioned funds by the other government scheme? This question is from Venu Srinivas. So I think, Venu, what I would like to tell you is that, of course, the team can apply for this, but you have to, the team can apply as a startup or as an individual. So somebody, one person will be responsible for this project. So that will be PI. Okay, so a team can definitely apply, but one person will be PI from the team, or either you can incorporate a startup and you can apply as a startup. But again, from startup, one person would be PI who will be responsible for execution of the project and who will be, who will be the point of contact for this particular work or a project, BIG project. The other thing is that, of course, the similar kind of a project can also be funded by 2-3 grants, because the one project, or let's say a one product, cannot be completed with a single fund. So you can, of course, offer a different funds from different funding agencies, but the milestones has to be different. For example, I was giving you example of this milk pill. Now, some initial work has been done using the Sitare fund. Now, the grantee also got that particular applicant or the student also got a BIG fund for the same product. However, the milestones are different. So whatever work he has done using the Sitare fund is a different milestone. So there could be a phases of this product. So it could be an initial prototype, then there is a second grade of this prototype, then there is an industrial design or something of this prototype. So for different phases, the grantee or applicant need a funds, and that can be opted from a different funding agency. See that there is no overlapping of milestones at any for two funding agencies or two funds.
21.
I hope this answers your question. Can we get the recording of this series session? Of course, this will be available on our YouTube channel, as well as we can also provide the recording to your incubation center, and they can circulate, of course.
There's another, can Sign help us in writing grant for us? Sorry, we cannot write the grant for you, but we can look over every draft of the grant.
So whenever
students
at least.
Sorry, there is some background noise. Can everybody mute themselves? Yeah. So although we cannot write the grant for you, we can look at all drafts that you send to us, and we'll give you constructive feedback so that you can structure it better. And there's one more question. Is any grant?
One second, Bradati, just want to add something here. So Dr. Rashmi, as Bradati mentioned, we cannot write the grant on your behalf because it's going to be your application. But of course, we can put you in touch with the experts or something with whom you can clarify your doubts if you have anything about writing your application or something. That we can definitely do. Yeah, Bradati, go ahead. Bradati, go ahead.
Any grant available for commercialization of patented technologies? Again, this grant is suitable for you, Abhay. If you want to, if you already have a patented technology and you want to commercialize it, I don't know what stage you're at, but this could be this grant is suitable for you to do that as well.
I think what we'll do, Abhay, is we would like to talk to you. And we would like to discuss the stage of your product. Of course, we would also like to know the technology or the product which you have, because Sign is also receives seed fund as well as lead fund from the BIRAC. We are partnered with BIRAC for handling those funding thing as well. And very soon we'll be floating a call for the same. So we have a LIF fund, which is actually for the commercialization and scale up for the technologies. And this could be also from agri sector as well. So we can look at your application. If you would like to get in touch with us, please do write to us. I think Pradati already has given the email address. I'll also mention in the chat box, and we can help you on that. If it is beyond proof of concept stage or initial validation, if you have done, then it may not fit into the BIG scope. But if these activities are pending, for example, validation or something, you can still look at the BIG as one of the grant for this, and do get in touch with us for opting for LIF fund as well.
If there are any more questions, please raise your hand. Professor Harini Kumar, Professor Veena, Lekhashri, if you all have any questions regarding this grant that you faced from your incubators, or you have any insights to share, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have one question from my side. Actually, many of our academicians would like to apply for this grant. So how could they go forward? Because they are into government job and all. So they have a doubt regarding this. Being in a government job, how can they apply? And if they get the grant, what would be the procedure, next procedure? If they can continue the job, or if they have to leave it. So many questions are there. Could you answer that?
I think I'll first go. This grant is open for everyone. I think Pradati already has covered that in her session, that this grant is for individual researchers, PhD, postdoc, academic people, including professors as well. The one thing which BIG would like to have a clarity on, whether these professors or academic peoples would like to form, incorporate a startup and commercialize this technology or a product which they have. They can do it with the help of their student. They can do it by hiring people, because this BIG grant have a manpower head as well. So that's one thing. They can look at the BIG as one of the grant, and of course, along with that intention from the intention to incorporate a startup by these faculty members, there has to be policies in place by the institute. They should be having policies like that. Faculty members can work on such projects where they would form a startup and they would commercialize their technologies, and at the same time now they can accept such funds from the government, because they are government already government employees at university level or at academic level. So they can accept such funds, and then they can utilize such funds to commercialize the technology which are in their lab or which they are working on. The other thing is that the IP policy should be very clear, because these people will not be resigning from their jobs. So faculty members are not expected to resign from their jobs, or even students for that sake. So, but they have to devote some time or they have to hire relevant people to take that work forward. So while they're working on their academic duties and all, they're having this startup. So there should be a IP policy, clear IP policy, that whatever IP, intellectual property, which will be generated using such fund should lie with the startup. Now, let's say initially, even if this property, IP or property lies with the institute should have a policy that it can be licensed exclusively or non-exclusively to the startups which faculty members or student will have in future. So these sort of a policy should be clear, should be there at a academic level. With that, I think faculty members, student, postdoc should be able to, they are allowed to apply for BIG. And they're allowed to do their own research work as well as to work on a PhD BIG project as well. Now, for faculty members, let's say any faculty members still would like to commercialize their technology, but they don't have any plans to do it in near future, let's say within 18 months, because BIG mandate says that you have to incorporate a startup before your tenure of 18 months completed. So within 18 months, you have to incorporate a startup. For any faculty members does not have intention to incorporate a startup before 18 months. So let's say they would like to do it after 3 years or 2.5 years or so. So what they can do is that they can apply for a PACE program. So this PACE program is again a BIRAC program, that is a promoting academic research conversion to enterprise. So here also the scope of the scheme says that it can be from the idea, not exactly idea, some proof of principle work should be done, but they can do it till validation of their technology or an idea or a product. And here they need not to incorporate a startup immediately. And this project tenure or this scheme tenure is up to 2 years. So they can work on this technology 2 years. The grant amount is also 50 lakh. The similar kind of a quantum of fund can also be provided to the PACE program. And here the academic professionals, for example, professors, they can collaborate with industry, or they can even work individually on their topic. There are two part of this scheme, that is PACE AIR and PACE CRS. So PACE AIR, where academic academic professionals, that is professors or professors, can work individually without having any collaboration, whereas in PACE CRS they have to collaborate with the industry for the validation of their work. And here the again funds are distributed to the academic unit as well as the industry unit. So this scheme can also help professors from your university to apply to take their innovations or technologies or a product to the next level without incorporating the startup immediately. After PACE program, again, you can also apply for BIG. So there is no such stop. Nobody can stop you from doing that if it fits the scope of the BIG. I think that's it from my side. These are some of the initiatives available from BIRAC side to help academic peoples. Brother, if you would like to add something to that.
No, I think you've covered it all. I just want to say that when you're an academic or a faculty and you're planning to apply for this grant, applying for the NOC from your host institute will clarify a lot of the things that Pranita already pointed out. Many of the clauses, for instance, if they'll allow you to even accept this grant, if they'll allow you to accept the grant money in your Nolene account, if going in the future, they're supportive of you having a venture of your own. So all of that will be clarified at the NOC itself. And if your institute isn't comfortable with you applying for this grant, of course, they will not issue you a no objection certificate, and there itself, you'll get clarity on where they stand with regards to such grants. In which case, again, PACE is a very good option for you because it allows a lot more flexibility. Okay, I think we've overshot the time. If there are no more questions, then
I think, brother, just before we close the session, since there are people from Agri University and Dr. Harini Kumar, as well as you have highlighted that what kind of a proposals can be submitted, I would like to give just some overview if anyone would like to apply for this grant. For example, what kind of a review panel, what kind of a points they look into your application, or from what from what perspective, and on what all points you have to strengthen your application is one thing is your technology, because these are the techie people. Most of the time, even the panel consists of domain expert, industry expert, investors as well. But these are techie people, and they would like to have a strong technology which they would like to support. One thing they would like to see is that, for example, if you're working something on supply chain, or farmers are the end users, they would like to see the economics of the your solution or technology, the product which will be coming out of it. So if it is a technically feasible, if it is a good product but it is not economically feasible, because it has to be used by the farmers, it has to be economically viable product. So when you are writing your project, it's not just the technology which you are writing or the good innovation. You just have to weigh that in terms of even economics as well. That has to be that should be adopted by the farmers going ahead. So commercialization is one of the aspect of this BIG scheme. So that is something you should keep in mind while you are writing your project. And these all point has to be covered while you're writing your project. For example, somebody is working on the weed management. So what kind of a crops you would like to target? What are the current traditional practices, and how your technology can overcome those shortcomings of the traditional practices? How this can increase the production? So you just can't say that it will increase the production, but you have to give some quantitative estimations as well. Now, which areas you would like to target first, and how you would like to spread from one state to other state, the crops behavior, or the regions, the climate, everything affect agriculture. So how your product can be adopted in other regions and all that. All this has to be, you have to think through all this stuff, because only technology, good technology will be that can be adopted, nationwide. And you will be able to easily tweak that if you have to do some changes. So all that has to be think through, and the committee not only just look this application from technology point of view, but as I said, economic feasibility, and as well as comparison with the current techniques which are there, or current solutions or products which are there in the market. So good comparison with the available products. And the one thing which I think all of, Dr. Harini Kumar also mentioned, Pratiti also mentioned in her application, that you have to talk to your end users. It could be farmers, it could be FPOs. You have to talk to them, gather data, and this data has to be shown in some format in your application. That will give a good perspective to the reviewers that you have done your homework, and now you came to a panel for asking for this fund so that you can develop this technology. And I'll just before I summarize, I'll give you a one example about the grantees which we have from the previous cycle. So they are working on the mechanization. So it's a robot for cotton harvesting. This robot was, rejected in the first round of BIG in first cycle, in initial earlier cycle. But then it was accepted in the second cycle because they asked the applicant to work on the technical aspect, and they asked them to gather the data and all. And the next time when the grantee or the applicant went to the TP panel member, he collected the data in terms of images which he needs. Because there is AI which going to do some part. So he collected a lot of images. He had talked to a lot of FPOs. He had talked to agriculture universities, experts, the farmers who are going to adopt this. The cost estimation was done. The comparison was done with the available products in the market. So that's kind of a data he actually gathered and shown to the TP members. And then the project was accepted. So these are some of the suggestions from our previous experiences. If you're working on this project, please do look at your technology from all these aspects. And if you need any help while writing, even if you would like to talk to us, not even about writing your application, but to have some experiences, we would like to share our previous experiences from our BIG previous round. So do let us know. We would also like to talk to you if you need any help on your BIG application. So that is it from my side. I will be having a formal Q&A session, informal Q&A session soon, and Bratati will of course send out the invites to all our partners and you all. Please do join us for that Q&A session. So that's it from my side, Bratati. Over to you.
Thanks, Pranita, for those insights. I hope the participants today benefited from those experiences. Thank you again. So I thank the SIGN team here who made this webinar possible. Thank you, Pranita, for your time and for your insights. I thank the entire team who's here with us today from the Agricultural University and the Agri Innovation Center, Bangalore. Professor Harini Kumar, I really enjoyed listening to you. Lekhashri, thank you so much for making this possible. Professor Veena, thank you for being with us here today. And from all of us here at SIGN, we also thank all of the participants who registered and made time today. We hope to see some good applications come from you in the near future, and we hope to join you in the near future as your big partner. And for several such sessions in the future, we will again approach you, and hopefully we'll be able to attract some good agri-innovators for this grant.
Bratati, before close, can we have one photograph, please? I mean, because Dr. Harini Kumar is here, Dr. Veena is here.
I will request Darshak to kindly take one picture.
Yeah.
Just give us a second.
Yes. So Dr. Harini Kumar, we had a session with you earlier through BBC. And that was, I think, a year back or so.
Okay, nice, friend. Yeah, I've seen you somewhere.
Yeah.
Just remembering you. Oh, so nice to meet you again.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, same here.
Thank you both. Nicely explained. And we'll meet again. There are different stages of product development are there in US, Bangalore. I want to talk to you about in the later stage.
Sure,
Okay,
sure,
we'll
sure,
meet
sure.
again.
We can have some kind of a formal engagement as well, because we see a lot of, these application or good technologies has to be supported in agri area. This is the one area which is standing like anything in this pandemic. So
Exactly.
so it has to be supported in every way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so
We
much.
have some collaborative.
Yeah, of course, this dialogue is going to be, we are going to continue this dialogue, and this is not just for this session. So we look forward to your, associating with you on different, aspects, and we can propose different kind of engagements, and we can see how we can, have a formal engagement or something, and we keep leveraging each other's, ecosystem, and try to support startup. That's the motto here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good day, sir. Yeah. Bye. Thanks, Lekha Shri. Thank you.
Thank you, Lekha. Thank you.